Hello and welcome to the 5-Minute University topic on using item analysis. This presentation is brought to you by Adam Persky from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, Eshelman School of Pharmacy. We all give our students exams to assess their knowledge and skills. But let us say a student fails an exam or does poorly on the exam. Did they fail because our exams did not reflect their major learning goals or appropriately cover the material? Or did the students fail because we wrote a bad exam? While each is possible and potentially contributory, for this session we'll focus on the last point. Did we write a bad exam? And if so, how would we know? So how do we know whether our exam was good or bad? Well, we can use a variety of statistics for each item or question and statistics for the exam as a whole. These statistics can tell us difficulty, answer the question, did better students get the harder questions correct? Or they can assess performance over distractors. Let's take a look at each of these items. Difficulty. The difficulty measure is simply the percent of students that got the question correct. This is sometimes referred to as the p-value. The possible range of values is 0 to 100%. While some people recommend there's an ideal range of difficulty, I think it depends on what your goals are and how many core skills you do assess versus the need to rank students. For example, my personal philosophy is if a student can accomplish all the objectives I've laid out, they should get around 88%. I'm interested in measuring competence in core skills and less interested in ranking students. When we give a multiple choice exam, there's an underlying probability that students can simply guess the correct answer. If you have questions with 4 answers, there should be a 25% chance a student guessed the correct answer. This may not indicate learning. If the difficulty score is around 25% for 4 answer choices, this question may not be sampling what students were supposed to learn, or the question has multiple answers, or is poorly written. You can probably throw out this question. The second item is discrimination. The discrimination index of an item looks at each question relative to the overall performance of the student. A positive point value means students who performed better on the exam did better on this item. For each of these measures, a 0 indicates no discrimination, so either the question was really easy or extremely difficult. High discrimination values suggest higher performing students are getting the question correct. An easy way to view your item statistics is to plot the difficulty on the x-axis and discrimination on the y-axis. You can use a grid system to make judgments on how good your questions are. Lower left questions are high difficulty but low discrimination. These are ineffective. Upper left questions are high difficulty and high discrimination. They're used for ranking. Anything to the right are core questions. These are easier questions with less discrimination. The final area is distractor performance. We can look at the output of an exam in terms of what distractors were selected. Incorrect distractors that receive a very large portion of the answers may need to be assessed if it has a correct response. An answer choice with very low proportion of responses may need to be reviewed or removed. Typically more than 3 answer choices is sufficient. Adding more does not usually lead to more discrimination. The final statistic is what we refer to as a KR20. This allows us to determine how reliable our overall exam is. Typically the higher value, the more reliable our exam is. Here are a few additional tips regarding constructing strong exams. Tip 1. Ensure your assessments are aligned with your learning objectives and instructional methods. Students may perform poorly on your exam simply because the exam tested them on material that was not emphasized during class. Tip 2. Try piloting questions and assessments that allow an evaluation of the question quality but aren't included in the exam score. This may be very helpful for short answers or fill in the blanks, where response variability may be greater than in a multiple choice question. The third tip, try using peers to help review or generate examinations. Having outside eyes or experts writing questions can help identify potential issues before the item is given to students. This concludes our time for 5-Minute University. After completing a short survey on the next page, you can access the handout full of great resources to get started with item analysis in your exams.